Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar this evening. Wonderful. Well, thanks all for coming. My name is Jacob Thomas. I'm the Academic Director at the TEFL Institute. And this is a webinar today to let you know all about our brand new diploma courses, what they are, how they work, what they involve in the world of TEFL. Okay, so lovely to see everybody. And let's get going. Right. So as you know, we provide lots of different TEFL courses from our 120-hour, our 30-hour specialist courses, and our level 5 variation of courses that we do. Now, we have a brand new suite of courses available, variations of diplomas and awards. I'm going to explain to you today what that means, how it can help you either become a TEFL teacher or improve your abilities as a TEFL teacher by learning lots more specialized information and how to go about it, basically. Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen with you. If you kindly direct your attention to my screen, I will run through the information we have today, kind of explain it to you. Feel free to either put questions in the chat, or once I've finished explaining everything to you, I'm more than happy to bring you on, unmute, and we can have a little chat where you can ask any questions or just make any comments that you might have. Okay, guys? Right. Bear with me one moment, please, and I'm going to share with you my screen. Wonderful. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys. Right. So we are the TEFL Institute, and this is all about our brand new diploma and award courses. Okay, some of you may be students of ours already. Perhaps you've done a course, perhaps you're starting a course or in the middle of a course right now, or perhaps you're just tuning in for information. Okay, so if you haven't done a course with us before, like I said, we offer a range of slightly different courses, different levels, different lengths, some specialized in like business English or online or advanced grammar. The 120-hour, which is our entry-level TEFL course to go and teach abroad or online, and then the level 5 180-hour certificate course, which was our main course up until this point. So I'm going to explain to you our new diploma and award courses. So what's new? We have a brand new suite of courses, which I'm going to show you now. We have a 180-hour level 5 TEFL diploma. We did have a TEFL certificate course, now we have a TEFL diploma. Just a bit of information about a diploma, certificate, award. It doesn't relate to an actual certificate, it relates to the length of time it takes to complete a qualification. So an award, it's a shorter qualification. A certificate is kind of like a medium length qualification, and a diploma is a much longer qualification. It takes quite a few hundreds of hours to complete. So the TEFL diploma we've developed this year in 2022 is a deeper, it's a more comprehensive course. We go into TEFL subjects from grammar to vocabulary to teaching to error correction to pronunciation, receptive and productive skills, lesson planning, all that kind of thing in more depth. There's more research on the learner's part. There's more little projects. There's more kind of checks and progress quizzes. So overall, it's a much more thorough qualification to get you from kind of zero to fully qualified, basically. So our level 5 TEFL diploma is replacing the level 5 TEFL certificate. We also have a 300-hour level 5 TEFL advanced diploma. I'm going to explain to you what that means in a minute, but that's a longer course in combination of our main 180-hour with some of our brand new level 5 specialist courses. And here are our specialist courses. So we have 60-hour level 5 award in teaching business English, a 60-hour award in teaching English online and one-to-one. It's a combination of online and one-to-one. The reason being, when you teach online, the most likely context you will be teaching is one-to-one. Sometimes that's because learners prefer it that way, but you'll kind of find that, okay, there are groups, but it's much harder as a language school, an online language school, to group people. Many schools do, but online and one-to-one is the most common context you're going to find in the online teaching environment. And equally, teaching one-to-one is a bit of a niche on its own. There are a lot of quirks and skills that you need to have to be able to manage your time, to be able to effectively teach that learner, and go into a lot more detail about what they need and focusing on how you can help them to learn, whether they want to pass an exam, whether they just want to improve conversation, whether they want a promotion at work. There's lots of very specific needs that are not necessarily focused on as heavily in a group class. So that's what this course looks at. Level 5 TEFL award in teaching other subjects in English. This one might sound a little bit foreign to some people if you've not kind of seen it before. Commonly, it's referred to as CLIL, Content Language Integrated Learning. In brief, what it means is teaching another subject, for example, mathematics, science, history, geography, music, in English. So there's less overt and express English language instruction, but the mode of instruction is English. So I'll give you an example. My very first ever teaching job over 10 years ago was in Thailand. And I turned up on my first day expecting to go and teach some grammar or some vocabulary. And they said, fantastic, Jacob, your first lesson is in 20 minutes, it's music. And I said, excuse me, music? I thought I was an English teacher. This is teaching other subjects in English. So I had to teach music through English. Or I taught science, mathematics, home economics, they actually still have in Thailand, teaching another subject in English. So this is really, really useful, especially if thinking of going to kind of more of a bricks and mortar school in Europe. They do this a lot in Spain, in Germany, Switzerland. They love it in Thailand. They do it in China. There's lots and lots of countries now where you will be a core teacher for a primary or secondary school, a junior or high school, where you will teach a normal subject in English and have like a little bit of a spin of English language on it. And finally, we have teaching English for exams. So there are lots of exam courses that you'll come across as your time as an English teacher, things like IELTS, Cambridge First, Cambridge Advanced, TOEIC, TOEFL, some of the more common ones, especially IELTS and especially the Cambridge Suite. So this course looks at exams in general, generic types of reading questions, writing questions, what kind of criteria are you teaching the learners to look at? And then we go through lots and lots of examples. IELTS does reading in this way. Here's how it works. Cambridge First works in this way to kind of familiarize you with how exams work, how to teach them, what their kind of structure is and how they're built, and methods to successfully help your learners through them. So lots and lots of new courses and lots of information. Like I said, the 180-hour TEFL diploma, this is our core sort of basic 0 to qualified TEFL qualification. And then these are our specialist 60-hour courses, but they're all level 5. Level 5 means in the UK, it's the equivalent of a foundational degree. So it's kind of between leaving school and a bachelor's degree, that middle ground. I believe in Ireland, it's a level 6 or level 7 referred to. It's a high level qualification. It's very difficult, not too difficult, but it's not something you're going to complete over the weekend. It definitely requires study, and employers see that as a much more comprehensive qualification to have. Hence why we've developed our suite in this manner. So let's have a look at the diploma. It has brand new interactive and learner focused materials. So since we brought out our 180-hour level 5 TEFL certificate course last year, we've learned, we've studied, we've gathered feedback, what's working well, how can we improve, and we've gone in and we've completely improved the course. We've changed around some of the learning objectives. We've modernized it so that it has everything you need to be a TEFL teacher right now in 2022. And it's very manageable. As you'll see, if you are on the course or if you join the course, there's lots of different activities, information, downloads you can keep in your teaching repository. Lots and lots of really interesting things. We have audio for everything. So if you're somebody who likes to listen, you can just put it on in the background or save it onto your phone and have a listen as you go about your daily lives. As a streamlined assessment process, so You study a module of the materials, then you do a little progress quiz to see how you're doing, then you study the next materials, progress quiz, and then there are some assessments, some written assessments as you go along. So it's designed to be manageable, painless, very straightforward. There's no tricky bits, there's no guessing what the question's asking. We make it very, very clear. We provide lots and lots of amplification for you, so you know exactly what you need to do and how. Fully flexible study time. So you have 6 months as standard. You can purchase extensions for as many months as you need to get through the entire course. Typically, if you're studying pretty intensively, you'd expect to do this anywhere between sort of 6 and 10, 6 and 12 weeks. So the 6 months, 26 weeks is usually more than enough. Obviously things happen and they come up and you might need an extension, or you want to go at a slower pace, completely fine. Fully supported by our academic team. So we have a range of support available to you through interaction with the office. If you have sort of an administration question, we have a Discord community, which, if you're not familiar with it, Discord is it was originally a gaming platform, but it's spread out now into academics and education, and it's a place where all learners can go together. We have various channels. You can ask questions, how do you go about this question, or can you explain this piece of grammar a little bit more? And myself and the assessment team are on there every day in normal working hours, and we're very, very accessible. So you can just drop us a message and have a chat. And we also have tutor support. So once you're on the course, you'll have your own personal tutor who you can email. And we always get back to you within a day, and you can ask your questions, get clarification on the course, on the processes, on, express any doubts you have, anything and everything, basically. So you're not alone studying online. You're not sat in a classroom with other learners. You can't just lean over and ask them a question, but you have a community of people from all around the world who are exactly in your position, going through the steps, working through it. And on top of that, we also have live Q&A Zoom sessions, a little bit like this, but less of a presentation and more of a catch up and a get together every week on a Tuesday at 6 p.m. Irish time, where one of our assessors will be in the session, and you can just ask your questions, share any concerns, look at any answers that you weren't really sure about, cover any materials and explain them more, anything and everything you need. So as I said, this course, the Level 5 TEFL Diploma, is going to replace our TEFL certificate. If you're on the TEFL certificate, not to worry, I'll explain that a little bit more in a short while, but you've got until the end of March next year to finish that one. And then we do offer routes to upgrade to take your TEFL certificate to a TEFL diploma. So you're not going to miss out on this diploma either, okay? So anybody who hasn't already started a course, then you will be on this TEFL diploma. But if you have started the certificate, you can go ahead and finish that. There's still loads and loads of time, and you'll be able to take a very short quiz and upgrade your certificate to a diploma at the end there, which I'll explain in a little bit. As I said, overall, the diploma is deeper. There's more self-study. There's a few little projects. They're not assessed, so you can go as deeply or as shallow as you like. We give you examples of the answers as well. There's projects, research and activities. And on top of that, we try and give you as many materials, resources, ideas, good websites, nice places to go and study as you can, because as a teacher, it's very, very important that you kind of build up your own materials and resources, because eventually you're going to be teaching online or teaching in a school, and having access to all these different resources and methods and things like lesson plan templates and activity ideas for a speaking lesson, all that kind of stuff is really, really useful to have in your back pocket. I've got a folder on my computer and it's probably got about 70 or 80 gigabytes of things I've created, things I've downloaded, things I've collected, useful websites, all sorts of things. So we try and give you as much of that as possible to give you a running head start as a teacher. That's the diploma. Advanced diploma. So this is our most comprehensive qualification available. The core course is the Level 5 TEFL diploma. And then on top of that, it consists of the Level 5 60-hour teaching business English course and the Level 5 teaching English online and one-to-one course. So essentially it's comprised of 3 courses together to make up one advanced diploma. There are very few to almost no advanced diplomas in TEFL on the market. We're one of, if not the first. It's definitely something that's very, very worthwhile looking at. There's a lot of options where you can jump on the course straight away, or whether you can do it later after you've completed a shorter course, which I'll let you know in a moment. But it really comprises so much information. You'll be fully prepared. I know if you're like me, you probably look at the different ones available and want the best one. This is the best one. This is the most comprehensive. Like I say, there's very few advanced diplomas on the market right now for TEFL. When I'm talking about awards and diplomas and certificates, we are regulated by Ofqual, which is the British government educational regulatory body, and our qualifications are all through Highfield, which are also in the UK, in Yorkshire. So all of this stuff goes through an enormous amount of checks. We create the qualifications, we work with Highfield, we work with Ofqual to make sure that everything's done correctly at every single stage. So these really are comprehensive and fantastic qualifications. So when you have the advanced diploma, all of your courses will be represented on one certificate. So at the front, it will say, you know, Jacob Thomas, advanced diploma, and then on the next pages, you'll have transcripts. So you have transcript for your diploma course with all the modules, all the unit numbers, and then you have a transcript for your 60-hour business, your 60-hour online and one-to-one. So when you show that to an employer, whether it's a hard copy or digital, it has everything in there together. If you're on a course, if you're on the 180-hour certificate, if you're on the diploma only course, if you're taking a 60-hour award course on its own, you always have the chance to upgrade to this advanced diploma. So for example, if you just wanted to start with a 60-hour course and you thought, actually, I want to add the diploma for the advanced diploma, this is fine. If you're on the 180 diploma and you want to add the 60-hour courses, this is fine. And if you're on the 180-hour certificate, the current course, you can upgrade to all of these. So there's every option is available to you, and you don't even have to do it at the same time. You come back to us 6 months later and then increase your qualification then. Okay, we have lots of pathways available. The 60-hour award courses, as we said before, teaching business English, teaching English online and one-to-one, teaching other subjects in English, and teaching English for exams. Now, they're perfectly fine to take as standalone courses. If you ask me my advice, I would say do the core diploma course first, because this really takes you from knowing nothing or very little to having everything you need as a teacher. These specialist courses, they teach you then what are the quirks, what are the most important aspects of business English, what are you going to come up against, who are your learners, what do they want, how are they going to treat you, how do you need to treat them, what will be their pressures, how to craft a lesson for this specific type of learner. And it's the same for all of these different courses. They're specialized, but it's great. They're fully standalone, so you can just take one of them. It's absolutely fine. It's got everything in there that you need to know. The 180 diploma will give you that rounded knowledge to be able to run into these specialist courses with a lot of really useful information. So obviously they offer specialist knowledge in their subject areas. If you're familiar with our courses, we do have a range of 30-hour specialized courses. Some of them are kind of similar. For example, we have a 30-hour teaching business English course. What's the difference between the 30-hour business course and the 60-hour award in business? Well, just like the diploma, it's a much more comprehensive qualification. It involves a written assessment, which a 30 hours don't. It's probably 2 to 3 times the material, the content of a 30-hour course. So 30-hour one is fantastic as a kind of an overview, an entry level look at what is business or what is teaching online. But the 60-hour courses, these are Ofqual regulated, written assessments. The materials follow a similar pattern to the diploma. So these ones are your maximum qualification courses. If you're on current courses, there are some routes available to you, as I've mentioned before. It doesn't matter if you've passed, if you've not passed, if you haven't bought one yet, if you're thinking about it, no matter where you are or what stage, there is a route for you to whichever course you want to take. Which one is for you? If you've passed the 180 hours Highfield certificate course, you can do a short upgrade quiz to get the diploma. This is actually 11 questions and then 2 administrative questions, so it's very, very short. You don't need to restudy all the materials. We explain to you which bits have changed and why, and then we list which lessons to go back and review. So there's probably about 15 to 20 lessons to go back and review various aspects, and then you complete a short written assessment. So it's very, very fast. If you were dedicated and you sat down probably a couple of days, then you would get through that. So if you've already passed your 180 hour certificate, that's a great pathway. If you've not passed it, but you've submitted at least one assessment, so if you're on the 180 hour certificate and you've submitted assessment 1 or assessment 1 and 2, then our advice is finish that course, because if you upgrade to the diploma, you'll have to start again from the very beginning. So our advice is finish the course and then take the short upgrade quiz. It will save you an awful lot of time. Even if you end up copying and pasting your answers across, it will still use up your time unnecessarily. So if you have submitted at least one assessment, then I would say finish the course by March 2023 and then upgrade to the diploma. As long as you finish the course by March, you can upgrade to the diploma whenever. Could be April, could be next October, could be in 2 years. Okay. If you've not passed and not submitted any assessment for the 180 hour certificate, then you could upgrade to the full diploma because you haven't submitted anything. You're not going to lose any work. Okay, so that's completely fine. Equally, you're more than welcome to finish up your certificate and then do the upgrade. But as you haven't submitted any work, you're not going to lose anything. So you've got nothing to lose. Go straight onto the diploma course. And lastly, if you don't have any course, then you're going to go straight onto the 180 hour diploma or advanced diploma, depending on what you've decided to get. So there's a pathway for everyone, whether you passed, submitted something, submitted nothing, or haven't decided to take any TEFL course at all yet. Like I said, similar upgrades are available for the advanced diploma. So if you're partway through or finished or nearly finished the 180 hour cert, there are pathways to upgrade your courses onto the advanced diploma as well. So get in touch with us about those and we can work out the best one for you. So how to get more information? First and foremost, email us hello@tefl.ie and we'll be more than happy to help out. There's a lot of information here about new courses, which one, what would work, how do they combine, which can be tricky to get your head around at first. If you like, no problem at all. We can arrange a call, email us and we'll arrange a call for you, and one of the team in the office can speak with you and say, what are your requirements? What are your time restraints? What are you hoping to do? And we can work out the best pathway to you, depending on which package you want to look at. If you're a current learner, if you're already on one of our courses, you'll have access to the tutor support and Discord. So you're welcome to drop us an email or drop us a message on there, and either myself or one of the team can jump in and have a chat with you and give you any information you need. So should be lots of different ways you can get info there, whether it's emailing the office, having a call, you can call into the office as well, or getting in touch with myself or one of our assessors, tutor support or Discord. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing there. That's everything I wanted to show you. Now, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy for you to put questions in the chat box here. Or if you're feeling brave and you want to come and have a chat with me, if you know how, you can raise your hand digitally and we can have a chat. So if you've got any questions about any of this stuff, drop a message in the chat or raise your hand and I can bring you on and we can have a little conversation. So feel free to put it in now.
This is Kyle. Excuse me, is it possible to ask a question?
Absolutely. Hi, Kai. How you doing?
I'm Fine, thank you. I'm so sorry. I was in the class and I couldn't join the meeting and I missed it. I'm so sorry. Right now, because right now it's about 6:30 p.m. in Italy. I live in Italy. I have a question about the TEFL certification. I have TTC and I certified about the TTC about 5 years ago. Right now, I'm teaching English for the teenagers, adults, a little bit business English for the elementary, pre-intermediate, and intermediate level. My question is about TEFL certification. What kind of the qualification that I needed to join this certification? I mean, I must be in advanced level, upper intermediate, intermediate, pre-intermediate. Could you explain a little bit? I'm so sorry I couldn't join the meeting because I was in the class, as I mentioned about that.
No problem at all. So in order to join one of our TEFL courses, we recommend that you are advanced level if you're not a native speaker, an advanced level. But what does that mean? I generally recommend people C1, but it really depends on you. As long as you can write well and you can communicate well with minimal mistakes, it's completely fine. So I think kind of B2 up is fine. If it was any lower, if it was kind of B1, intermediate, pre-intermediate, then you wouldn't have that range of language to be able to, A, communicate and write answers, and B, understand the content of the course. But just by speaking to you there, Kai, I can, you speak very easily. So I think you'd be absolutely fine. I don't think it'd be a problem.
That's for kind of you. That's for kind of, and one more question. Okay, I don't want to interrupt you because there are other students, they wanted to ask some questions. Is there any possibility to have some interview with one of your staff or teachers if I have the basic requirements to join the TEFL certification, and if I have qualified about that, and after that to start TEFL course?
Yeah, absolutely. We can arrange a call with you to have a chat with one of our staff members. That's fine. But I mean, I'm more that tell me now, what is it that that you feel perhaps you would be worried about, or concerns you about your ability or your level?
And it's about the 5 years I'm teaching English. I don't care about I don't scared about the teaching. Okay, I have wide age variety that I'm teaching from the age of 5 to 65 years old. I have a student, and I'm just a little worried about my knowledge. It's enough for TEFL or not?
I think you'll be absolutely fine. What I recommend to people generally, if we see them struggling, for example, with language in the assessment, is we say things like, make sure you have Grammarly on to spot any sort of common mistakes or errors in grammar or spelling or vocabulary. As long as your writing is as good as your speaking, you'll be completely fine. This qualification, firstly, we don't teach language, so it's not for language learners. However, we don't use overly formal or overly complicated words. It's really anything that is complicated, quote unquote, is more that's a terminology we use in TEFL. So a native speaker would have to learn that. There's an awful lot of acronyms. There's an awful lot of terms that everyone has to get used to. Like I said, we have a long course access, so 6 months. You can extend, some people extend up to 12 months. We offer varying kind of packages there. I think you'd be fine. I think when you get on the course, if you're not used to a TEFL course or studying online, you might be like, wow, there's a lot of information here. There's a lot to digest. But people, after the first module, they very quickly get used to the method of study. And it's in that time you can lean on us a little bit. You can say, hey, Rachel at Tutor Support, I don't really get this. Can you explain? Or come to one of our Zoom sessions, say, look, I'm really sorry, there's something about this grammar, or there's this term in the lexical vocabulary unit. Can you just sort of give me a bit more info? And that's what all that support is there, so that you have that kind of fallback, that assistance to get you through academically. So you can start off slow and then increase as you go. I wouldn't be worried one bit if I was you.
That's what kind of you. How can I start it? Is there any opportunity to some calls with your colleagues. Of course, you mentioned about that there is possibility to have this kind of the call to be sure if I'm qualified for this course or not. And about the cost of this course, because I missed the meeting, I really don't know exactly how much does it cost for me. I remember about 6 months or a year ago, it was discounted on your website. I could find it, but I'm not sure exactly right now. Still, you have discount or not? How can I find it? Is there any possibility to check your website to find out the updated prices?
Yeah, it'll be on our website. The best thing to do is have a chat with someone. So if you you can email hello@tefl.ie. I think Katie can write it in the chat for us there, and you can take note of it. And if you email them saying, I've been to the webinar, I'd really like to have a chat, then somebody can arrange a call back with you this week and go through the various options. I would say top tip, November is Black Friday month, so watch out for that as far as the discounts.
Of course, of course.
But that's secret, don't tell anyone. But yeah, I mean, we, like any company, we run various promotions, and we're bringing out new courses and things like that. So do take a look at it, have a chat with somebody in the office, and they'll be able to run through. I can't tell you the exact numbers right now because I've been busy working on the courses, but it is there. Katie's just put in the chat, hello@tefl.ie, to arrange a call.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you very much. Good day.
Hope to see you on a call soon. Take care.
Of course. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So much. Right, I'm just going to answer a couple of these questions in the chat, and then if anyone else wants to talk verbally afterwards. So Yusuf said you're on the 310 already. So for anyone that's not sure, that the 310 previous kind of package was the 180-hour certificate, 4 30-hour courses, and the 10-hour methodologies course, which is a live tutorial session, going through teaching methodologies and things like that. So you've done 2 assessments and just nearly finished the 3rd. I've actually seen yours pop up a lot, Yusuf, so thanks for coming today. The content of course, so your certificate course is going to be kind of similar content to the diploma. What varies will be some of the materials and some of the assessment questions. So for you, Yusuf, you will need to finish your course and then upgrade to the diploma. There is a fee. It's not a very large fee. And it just covers sort of administration and a few small assessment costs to take you from the 180 certificate to the 180 diploma. You won't lose any of your progress. You'll end up with 2 certificates. You'll have the 180 cert, 180 certificate, and the 180 diploma. So you actually have double certification. You can show people if that works out well for you. So I think that's the best option there. And your 30-hour courses, they remain the same. So whatever time limit you had, you will still get separate certificates for all them. So you'll have your whole 310 package. And then if you upgrade, you'll also have the diploma. So you'll have a whole wall of certificates. Okay, fantastic. Next one here. So Karen said, after receiving the certificate, explain the resources you offer to finding various jobs in various countries. So we offer job support. We have a range of things available. We have jobs posted on our website. You can speak with our jobs advisors who can advise you on things like writing a CV, a cover letter, give you ideas and info. We do internship programs where through us you can go abroad. You can work with a school and kind of intern in various different locations around the world. Again, that's definitely something to contact the office about. And they'll be able to tell you which internships are coming up or which jobs they have posted available at the moment. And, for jobs, they're looking for certain types of people. So maybe they'll want somebody with this kind of specialism, or maybe they'll want somebody who prefers teaching young learners, or maybe prefers teaching adult business learners. So each job has its own spec. So get in contact with us about that, Karen, and we can kind of help you out individually, okay? Elisa has said, why is this course?
Yes.
Why is it cheaper?
I'm really interested in this one.
Cambridge CELTA for a start. So there's 2 kind of pathways with that type of qualification. You have the CELTA Cambridge, and you have the CERT TESL, which is Oxford. So the main difference is that they have a 4-week intensive or a part-time kind of couple of evenings a week course that's done on location in one of their centres, and a lot of it's based around teaching practice. So when you generally go in the morning, do a couple of hours of study, and then the afternoon's kind of teaching. So the vast bulk of that course goes into paying teachers to be present, to tutor you all day, every day, basically. An online TEFL course, obviously you don't have that teaching practice. We do offer the 10-hour methodologies course. So that's where the difference is in the price. However, they're the same level course. So we offer, I've done TEFL, I've done CELTA, I've done Delta, and I've done degree, and I've put so much information in here. Actually, some CELTA and Delta type information into our courses. So really information learning wise and strategies and ideas, we're head and shoulders above it in what you can take away, especially things like resources. You're not going to go away from a TEFL course with like lesson plan templates that you can use or materials that you can just tap into straight away. So obviously I'm a little bit biased, but we offer an awful lot to cover that extra learning there. But there are different routes for all this kind of thing.
And is this still recognised the same around the world?
Yes, exactly. The only thing is with the difference between a TEFL and a CELTA is generally a TEFL course cannot be taught. You cannot be teaching in a native speaking country. So in the UK, you won't be able to get a bricks and mortar school. In Ireland the same, but you can teach online. But any other country in the whole entire world, you'll be able to teach in online or offline.
So I live in Ireland, obviously in Galway, for the last 22 years, but can I teach, if I followed through on this, can I teach English in Ireland or not?
In a language school, no. In a like a normal school, no. But in things like a summer camp or privately, yes.
Okay.
That's the difference.
That was my reservation at the start, and that's why I looked at the other one, but frankly, I don't want to live in the rain anymore.
It's a tricky, it's a tricky one. Like, I might say, back when I did my TEFL, there were no level 5s. It was very, very basic, kind of 120-hour, much more basic than we have now. But I did the TEFL first because I didn't know if I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to travel and I didn't want to work in a bar. And I thought that was a better way to move around the world.
Yeah, okay.
Once I'd sort of found out, hey, I really like this, I have a passion for it and I enjoy it, then I wanted to invest further and further, just like anything, maybe you take a degree or a master's in something, but the price is a real big difference. So
it's massive, it's huge.
Well, at 200-300 euros, you could check something out. In the UK, it's about £1,600, £1,800.
It's more. I looked it up.
Is it more now? Is it? Yeah,
probably it's more. Yeah, I think it's 1,800, and I couldn't understand what the price difference was. It just blew me away.
When you look at the overheads, I mean, when I did my CELTA, we had 5 permanent tutors, plus they have people from Cambridge come in to do the examinations, and then they have, the kind of tutor managers. So you're paying all those people full time, which, it's a fantastic course and it does you well. But if you're just testing it, if you want to see, maybe I can do a semester here or get some online work, it depends how much disposable income you have to test something out. And I think 300 will do you a bit better than 2,000 euros or whatever.
Dead right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Elisa. Good question. And you corrected yourself. That's a sign you're going to be a fantastic teacher.
Did I? What did I do wrong in the first place?
I think you put that and then said, sorry, Dan.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, Dan, yeah. That'll be my 1980s English coming back at me.
It's fantastic to be a bit of a stickler with your grammar, because the one thing is, when you're teaching, if your learners will point out mistakes and then you go, aha, I was testing you.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to know, because but it's still recognised as an international qualification, but you can't teach English in Ireland. Am I understanding that correctly?
In a conventional school, yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't like kids. I've had 3.
It's horses for courses. Some people love it and they will only teach kids, and some people won't touch them with a barge pole and they will just stick with adults. It depends on the individual.
Fantastic. Thank you for your answer. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, so we've got Amara here, said you completed a general degree, well done. Should you consider the teaching of subjects in English because of what my degree offers? I'm interested in TEFL diploma. So TEFL diploma, yes. I mean, generally, unless you do like a linguistics degree, that would typically have like a TEFL or kind of English foreign language teaching component to it. However, it doesn't go anywhere near what a TEFL course would do as far as the depth and kind of range of what you're going to learn. It would be more of an overview. Teaching English as a foreign language is a little bit different than, let's say regular kind of, maths and science and English in a school type teaching. We have different methodologies, different history of teaching methodologies and things like that. So it's definitely worth, if you want to teach TEFL, doing a TEFL specific course. It will put you in a much better stead in general, and you'll follow kind of the right structure and pathways. As far as teaching other subjects in English, I think this is a really important one. Even since I've started teaching in the last sort of 10, 11 years, a lot of countries have moved towards teaching other subjects in English. So they'll have, for example, Thailand has English programs or mini English programs. And for these kids, every single lesson of the day, apart from Thai language, is in English. It's the same in China. They have it everywhere. It happens in Japan. It happens in Korea. South America is leaning towards this way. There's a lot of European countries that do the same as well. Like I said, Germany earlier, some in France, Spain. So I was a bit of a fish out of water when I was thrown into teaching music and other things. So, having those strategies that to deal with teaching another subject, how to build a lesson, how to kind of bring in some language to that lesson without overly teaching a language is quite an important skill. And a lot of countries and a lot of private schools and even comprehensive schools are moving in that direction. So I do think it's a worthwhile thing. Okay, so I've just seen here some language schools in Ireland are happy to take the level 5, which is fantastic news. I think since COVID, a lot of things have changed. So before COVID,
well, no one's gone out.
Well, COVID, apart, obviously lots of things have changed there, but it pushed everyone online. It pushed regular school teachers online. It pushed TEFL teachers online. It pushed students online. So I was teaching online quite heavily in the years before COVID, and I noticed everyone just influx. But what that did is it brought out new courses, new methods of instruction, new learning platforms that have really, really, really improved. And the kind of traditional thought of, doing something online is not worthwhile, it must be in a classroom, changed when all those people were forced to go online and saw how little quirks about it and how difficult it was and how meaningful it could be. I've done at least 6,000 hours of online teaching myself, and I prefer it. I like being sat at my computer with all my resources there, one-to-one with the learner, drawing on the board, making my notes, sharing it, putting them in breakout rooms. I find that much better for myself in my way of teaching than moving around a classroom. And it means I get to sit down as well, which is a bonus. But I think a lot of schools are kind of coming around to this. They're realizing that, if you take a level 5 graduate, they do have a thorough background. The courses have moved on so much in the last sort of 10, 15 years, but especially the last 2-3 years, the courses have got better, more comprehensive. And, when I designed these courses, every part of my thinking was, how can I give learners the best information, the most information, everything you need that I wish I had when I started teaching. So I'm really putting all of that effort in. What resources, what materials do you need to move forward with your teaching? And as we said at the bottom there, do check the local language school, send out emails, give them a call, pop in and see if it's possible, because it seems like times are changing, which is fantastic. I can see, Sarah Danny, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, exactly. My
Very good.
Wise. Okay, just one more question is about the expiry dates for the TEFL certification. Could you tell me if it is a lifetime or no?
Lifetime.
It's lifetime.
Yeah, it's valid forever.
And as you know, I missed the meeting. Is there any opportunity to download the meeting, or is that recorded or things like this?
Yeah, this has been recorded. So at some point this week, we'll put it up on our YouTube channel. And then you can, and it will probably go on some socials, or a link to it will go on our socials as well. And you'll be able to watch the full thing from start to finish.
At the moment, I don't have your channel's name exactly. If it is possible, please write it in the chat area for me.
Yeah, we'll put that in there for you now.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
While you're putting that, I'm going to answer Rahul's question. It's a good question. It says some jobs say graduate or bachelor's as a requirement. Does that mean a bachelor's in English language or any bachelor's? It means any bachelor level degree, any bachelor level degree.
Hallelujah.
It does. You know, so my bachelor is in engineering. I was an aerospace engineer before I was a teacher, and nobody has ever even looked at my certificate apart from filing away as tick, here the bachelor's. It's just one of those things in this world, you know, if it's a requirement for it, then it's just a tick box. So it doesn't matter what your bachelor's is in. It could be in surfing studies, or, you know, whatever it is. I heard one when I was young, Buffy the Vampire Slayer studies, anything, it doesn't matter. An MBA will be perfectly fine. I think, Rahul, I think you'll be absolutely excellent at business English being an MBA, because you'll bring all that knowledge in and then add in the skills as an English teacher. I think you'll be fine. Any more questions or comments, guys? Feel free to have a chat with me if you prefer, or if not, you can put it in the chat box down there. So Karen said you haven't seen the 6-hour course on the website. We're still putting the website together this week for all the various options, but they'll be in there very, very soon. Right now they're part of the advanced diploma package, but we'll offer them separately very, very soon, this week or early next, I should imagine. So just a brief overview, the 60-hour English and one-to-one on the website. So online and one-to-one is we combine them together. So there's a module about specifically online, there's a module about one-to-one, and then there's 3 modules about, you know, receptive skills online and one-to-one, productive skills online and one-to-one, lesson planning online and one-to-one. Like I said earlier in this webinar, when you teach online, probably at least 60% of the time, you're going to be teaching one person. So, you know, teaching one person is a little bit different than teaching a group. When you teach a group, you've got this kind of classroom management aspect to what you're doing. So it's kind of, you know, that kind of work in pairs, talk about the answer, you feed back to him, he feeds back to her. In one-to-one, things go quicker. You're going to get through materials a lot faster. It can be extremely rewarding. It can be sometimes a little bit tedious if the learner is not so motivated to do the work. You have to prepare a lot more thoroughly. However, it's much, much more effective in general, because, you know, I'll give you an example of a learner I worked with for a year. He's Ukrainian, living in Switzerland. He worked for their equivalent of Amazon as a website developer, and he wanted to pass the Cambridge Advanced exam, but he really wanted to learn language that he could use in meetings, in his job, to get a promotion. So it's kind of like, you know, let's do a bit of exam practice. However, let's look at your latest notes for your new meeting. So I kind of designed it to try and give him a little bit of exam practice as we went along, but look at what he'd arranged for his meetings, how he'd written up emails, you know, teaching him things that you wouldn't even think in a normal class, like how to say hello in a variety of ways. You know, why we're not really saying regards, we generally say best regards or kind regards, because we don't want to seem a little bit upset or something. A whole host of things. So I designed a bunch of different activities and different ways of kind of helping him through his job. He went for an interview in London at Google, didn't get the job, unfortunately, but we went through a lot of job interview strategies, especially specifically for Google. We looked up all their hiring processes, because they have a lot of kind of analytical questions and kind of like, what would you do in this situation? And, you know, you walk down the road, there's a farmer and a lady, which one do you talk, you know, lots of different things. So we went really specifically into what he needed for various situations in his life. And that's how a one-to-one can benefit people more. And doing that online, it's how do you bring in those tools to teach that person? You know, are we going to use a presentation? Are we going to use Zoom? Is there something we can collaborate on? Are we reading a newspaper article? Are we going to, you're going to share and show me a presentation you've created? It's kind of bringing that all in together and managing it, and managing that last 10 minutes at the end where you kind of ran out of stuff to do, but you need to make it meaningful. So that's what the online and one-to-one course looks at, is how to bring that all together in a nice, patient and effective way. So we've got here, can I upgrade my specialist courses to the off-call equivalents, or do you have to start from? Yeah, so the 30-hour specialist courses and the 60-hour level 5s are completely different in terms of how we assess them and how the materials are put out. So you can't upgrade the 30 to the 60 because the questions are not the same. Okay, the topics are the same, but the way it's presented, the way you work through it is all completely different there, Yusuf. Do you get to choose your learners, kids or adults? Yes and no. That's really a question for who are you working for and how. If you work as a freelancer, you're free to choose whoever you like to work with. If you just want to work with business people, if you just want to work with French business people because you used to live there and you speak the language fine, or you're on an online learning platform and one lesson might be a 7-year-old and the next lesson might be a 35-year-old. Generally, platforms will more or less kind of, you'll have a voice to say, I want adults or I don't, or I want kids or I don't. But depending on the platform, they might kind of assign you. I would say it's better to try everything. Try teaching kids, try teaching teens, try teaching kind of young adults, try teaching adults, business, not business, all that kind of thing, and then find out what works for you. Me personally, I like teaching high level students. I like myself to feel a little bit challenged. I like the advanced levels or the proficient levels. I'm less of a Apple type teacher and more of a let's examine this and evaluate this text. But that's my personal kind of way of teaching. I know teachers who sit there with their guitar and like singing songs and just want to teach 3 to 8-year-old kids. It completely is your choice. But as in your career, you're free to kind of move to a company who teaches that kind of learner that you're familiar with and you enjoy.
Can you, sorry, just, I don't know, I'm sort of waving at the screen because I'm not really sure what I'm doing, to be honest, but I'm half Italian and I know basic Italian and basic Spanish. So I'm wondering, is there any opportunity to sort of give English to somebody and then give me back something else?
There are lots of, I don't know off the top of my head, but there are websites, maybe Katie can have a quick look if you know it, where you can do a language exchange, which involves kind of no money, where you could do half an hour of English and half an hour of Spanish, for example. There are a lot of those type of things available. Obviously, you're not drawing a salary from that, but if your goal is to improve language, there are kind of like buddy websites, or even probably in Ireland where you live, if it's near a big town or city, there'll be meetups for people to have a coffee and a chat. So that's a very, very possible and common thing in language learning.
Okay, thank you.
Sometimes, you don't need to know the language at all to teach English. However, sometimes knowing the language is a positive and sometimes it's a negative. So positives are, if you speak Spanish and somebody says something in English that you can kind of diagnose and say, I understand why you've said that, why you've told me that you've been to a school today, for example, because they like to put the E in front of an S. So you can diagnose that and create a method. However, sometimes on the other hand, learners know that you speak their language and they kind of get a bit lazy and they can fall back.
Got you. Yeah.
I know a lot of teachers who just don't tell their learners they know the language, and it kind of comes out if something's happened, But
good God, how do they keep quiet?
yeah, you can hear when you're talking to them. But I taught Thailand and I didn't know. I mean, I learned a bit of Thai, but not, kids are talking fast and speaking their dialect, so you don't need to know the language.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful, guys. I think we've got time for one more question if we have it. No worries if not. Has anybody got one more question? They've put the language exchange in the chat there for you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Click on that.
Brilliant.
Right, guys. if there's no more questions, I think we'll leave it there. I really, really appreciate you all coming. If you're on the current course, feel free to drop us a message anytime. If you're thinking about courses, you can email hello@tefl.ie and we'd be more than happy to get back to you with a phone call, go through your kind of personal situation, see what would suit you best and explain a bit more about how we can go about it. Okay, so really lovely to see you. Like I said, this will go up on our YouTube and potentially some socials, so do keep an eye on it if you've missed anything or if you want to revisit anything. Thank you all, really appreciate you coming, and wish you a wonderful day. Best of luck.